Hello citizens, welcome to another episode of an Avionics Technician's Guide. My professional experience between the MV-22 Osprey, both 737 MAX and NG, and now the KC-46 Pegasus has made me enjoy analyzing ships within the verse. For returning viewers and subscribers, please go to the timestamp below to get started. However, if this is your first time watching my content, then welcome. I am Sear6. I've been watching this game since the beginning and backing since 2014. And now I create content that is more than just stating simple facts. My content is intended to help people like you figure out what role you want to play in the verse and if the ship in question really fits the niche that you desire. I analyze everything and put things into perspective, all in all to make you think. Feedback is always appreciated, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this series. Tell me what ship you would like to see next, and check out other videos within this series or within my channel. Now, without further chatter, let us analyze the ship in full detail, the Freelancer MIS. Today, we'll start off with a pre-flight walkaround, examining the weapons package and exterior of the ship, an interior walkaround showing current features the ship offers and aircrew fighting positions, reviewing the flight deck, analyzing components, flight performance, tactics with loadouts, and wrapping up the video with my final thoughts on the ship. Let's begin. The Freelancer MIS is the gunship version of the Freelancer variants, bulky and slow, but makes up for it with the expanded bespoke missile bays, sacrificing cargo to be an enhanced warfighting machine. This is definitely the ship I would upgrade to if I had a Cutlass Black. If I enjoyed the combat role of the Cutlass Black, then I could fine-tune my niche profession from a jack-of-all-trades ship to a more narrow career-focused path. Let's get a closer look and discuss the ship as we start our pre-flight walk-around. I'll see you on the ground. Starting off our walk-around, I would like to point out the olive drab paint job giving the ship that military-style look to it. Under the ship, we have the nose and main landing gear, complemented with shock struts for a cushioned landing. Along the sides, we have the first weapon hardpoint. The MIS has two gimbal turrets on either side, both containing two size 3 Gatling guns for a grand total of 4 guns, and all dedicated to the pilot. Moving further aft, we hit the wings with missile hardpoints. The MIS comes standard with 2 missile racks per wing. Each rack holds 2 size 3 missiles for a grand total of 8 missiles. At the back, we have the engines encased in the non-existing armor plating. Now, with our walk around complete, let's take a look at the inside of the ship. Once inside the ship, you'll notice the turret above me, component compartments to either side, and the marked off grid for the cargo of the ship. Once in the turret, you're equipped with 2 size 2 ballistic repeater bucksaws. They both have a decent angle of fire to assist the pilot with, and are very deadly once in close range. The next room forward is the bespoke missile bays for the remaining 20 missiles. All in here are still size 3 missiles as well. The next room forward is the remaining SCU grid and the docking collar for the ship. The fourth room forward is the crew berthing, equipped with a small mess, a head, a non-usable computer station, an access ladder for when you have cargo filled in the back, and the 4 beds for the crew. Next room forward is the flight deck, including the aft crew seats on my left and right, and the pilot and first officer seat. Once at the flight controls, at the left you have an MFD. Just above is the spool quantum drive and engine switches. To the right of this is the cycle power and go flight ready button. Above this is an MFD, and to the right is the radar screen. To the right of this is another MFD, and just below is the unlock, lock, open, close exterior switches. And finally, below this is the 4th MFD. Now with our flight deck analysis complete, let's take her for a spin. I will see you back in the air. The MIS has a weak point when maneuvering the ship. It has decent acceleration, however, bleeding off speed and re-engaging is the main issue. The ship does fly relatively smooth in atmosphere, but being a bigger ship means it's also easier to engage. Now, looking at components that make up the ship, the MIS comes with a Grade C military class size 2 quantum drive, 2 Artic size 2 Grade C military class coolers, The ship has a Maelstrom size 2 Grade C military class power plant as well. And finally, the ship has 2 full-stop size 2 grade C military class shield generators. As a 3.5.1, there's a very limited amount of swappable components you can use for larger ships. I'm more than confident that this will change in the future. However, to learn more about ship components, check out my video on how components work. Now, let's discuss some tactics and loadouts. My personal loadout for fighter control includes the default guns and swapping out the missile racks for 2 size 4 octo racks, giving me 16 size 1 missiles under my wings, and the other 2 pylons are 4 size 2 rattlers each. A total of 8 rattlers, and each have 7 warheads, and the remaining 20 size 3 missiles that are still internal to the ship. So theoretically, that is 92 missiles total. Sometimes I'll also switch out for scatter guns if I'm in a fleet and the fighters are in close range. However, this allows me to stay at range and slowly bleed off shields of a fighter, and if they get too close, my Gatling guns or scatter guns will make quick work of the ship due to the already weakened shields. I always keep distance and I never try to get into a turn fight, but if I do, then I push the gap wider and force the opponent to get closer, and then I use my missiles while they close the gap. For a ship of equal size, I'll keep the standard missile loadout and switch out the guns for the energy queller cannons that you can purchase at Artic. 4 of these will make quick work of most ships, making this loadout exceptionally great for bounties. Again, since I'm fighting a ship of equal size, I can forward to get a little closer without having to worry about agility. Once they start to break off, I then use the missiles to make up for the gun range. And for larger ships, I'll use the ballistic repeaters to assist shield piercing and make the wing missile racks 4 size 4 missiles on the external hardpoints. Still same missiles internal, but each size 4 missiles roughly doing 5k DPS. Cannons give me long range and the missiles assist with the distance gap as well, but usually I never break this out by myself, only in a fleet, or else I risk exhausting ammo on a more beefy ship. I do not worry too much about the back turret. However, whatever guns you choose for the turret, then please use them. And to learn more about tricking out your ship, then check out my tutorial about ship hardpoints at the end of this video. Just remember, all I'm doing is trying to give you a recommendation. If you find a loadout and a strategy that suits you well, then by all means, use it, because at the end of the day, it is your choice. Now, as for my own thoughts on the ship, with the analysis we just went through, this is definitely the ship I would use for mission running along with other fleet and non-fleet activities. You can still carry a decent amount of cargo, being 36 SCU. And you can still put a vehicle in the rear and drop a handful of troops off. So overall, you sacrifice some cargo space for a more heavily combat-oriented ship. Me personally, I use this for NPC bounties, and every day I can make roughly over 100,000 UEC, once I hit those 8k bounties of course. Usually I'm fighting Valkyries and Constellations, and those Queller cannons I mentioned earlier can make very quick work of them. So, in a week or so of roughly doing 20 minutes of mission running, I went back up to almost 1 million UEC. But once again, when ship rentals and more ships are available to purchase in the game, then I will work my way toward this ship, if of course you do not have it in your fleet. I will guarantee you'll more than likely make your money back upon purchase in no time with the right loadout and the right mindset. But of course, it's your journey overall, so buy and use the ship how you please, whenever you please. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video and got something out of it, then I would ask you to consider liking it and possibly sharing it with a fellow friend, backer, or orgmate so they can make a decision on their role-playing style. Also, feel free to tell me your thoughts about the Freelancer MIS in the comments below. And also, feel free to subscribe if you enjoy my content overall. But until next time, fellow citizens, I will see you on the flip side.